Elevators coach Mike here. As obviously it's my last week along with Christina and Kath as a coach. You guys have sent in a bunch of questions like an AMA, and so I'm gonna go ahead and answer some of them, and I am gonna answer all of them for people who sent in some interesting questions. Let me adjust this first. Okay, so Phyllis Benson actually asked all three of us, I'd love to know, each of the coaches, what is it in your business that you love to do? What is it you're doing in your business that you dislike, or have you gotten to the point where you're getting other people to do it all the time? What are your goals for the business in the next year? And number 4, any words of wisdom to help us going and growing. So first of all, what do I love doing? I actually love doing this bit. I love creating video content. I love filming. I love kind of creating new things to serve people and exploring ideas, and I write a lot, and this is the bit that I love more than anything. If I could just do this, and eventually I want, my business model, so there's a goal, my business model to just allow me to write and create content, that'd be amazing to serve my audience. What do I hate doing? Admin. I absolutely loathe doing my books, which is why I now have a full-time bookkeeper and accountant to take care of all of that stuff for me, because I have absolutely no interest in doing it whatsoever. I don't like anything to do with taxes, although I understand it. I think it's just incredibly time intensive. I don't like any of the admin bitty stuff work that's like, uploading videos and writing titles and stuff, and I'll try to get people to do all that kind of stuff because I don't like doing any of that. My goals for the business, so we want to get our agency up to $1 million a year. We're hoping to do that by this year. We were very close last year, and I'd like it to be over $1 million. Now, to be honest, $1 million a year through an agency is not actually a huge amount. It might seem like an insane amount of money, but we've done the numbers, and $1 million is not a huge amount for an agency, particularly when we've got like 7 people. 11 if you include everybody, kind of part-time and people who we regularly use. But $1 million is where I want to get to in revenue. And I think we might be there this year, so we'll see with that one. As for Sell Your Service, like my own kind of coaching and content platform, I really want to get that to $100,000 a year, $10,000 a month in revenue. And again, we're close to that, but I've got a lot of product features and a lot of courses to release on that. And I want to release a 2nd book this year and write my 4th book, so I've just finished my 3rd. And finally, any words of wisdom? So my advice to anybody who's in this position is have a real think about how it is you're going to scale your business. It might sound obvious to some people, particularly like I wrote a book on just scaling a business, and I think the biggest advantage we have as single person entrepreneurs and individual people is that we have an opportunity to scale our businesses out to the point past anything we thought was conceivable, and there's loads of opportunity to be able to do that, but it doesn't necessarily have to rely on any methods you think, but it does rely on you making some sacrifices. You're gonna have to upset a few people, you're gonna have to turn some customers away and turn some opportunities away, but it's gonna allow you to scale your business out and give you a lot more time. So my advice would be to continue looking at ways to be able to scale your business and focus on key result areas and income generating tasks rather than the admin tasks and procrastination. So yeah, that one. And read more, start reading more, read a book a week. Cool. And we'll get on to the next question in a bit. Oh, so another question from Phyllis here. What's your go-to app or software, or the three of you have? You'll have to have tools that you all know that's wrapped around WordPress and being an interwebber. So to me, my favorite tool, bar anything, is actually for something that I loathe using. It's Newton HQ for email. It's what I use for my email client. I think it's like $80 a year or something. The reason I absolutely love using it is because it takes all of my emails and streamlines them into one stream of email, and it's super easy for me to kind of unsubscribe from things. I absolutely love all the features that Newton does. As opposed to being some of the other platforms, I'm a really big fan of, well, frankly, this video setup. So we record a lot of videos. I just have a Galaxy S8 Plus, and I've got like a bunch of things like a tripod. I have a Manfrotto tripod. I got a Rode Video Micro, and all of that kind of stuff allows me to make videos very, very easily. In terms of other apps and platforms, that's kind of about it. I actually don't really have a huge amount of software and stuff that I use. I guess I should mention Beaver Funnels, which is my plugin for building funnels, but again, I actually don't use it a huge amount myself now. It's a lot of our guys using it. So those are probably the 3 tools. Sorry if that's not vague enough. There's hardly anything. Oh, there's a WordPress plugin in there, but apart from that, there's nothing too tool or app focused. Kindle, I read a lot of books, so my Kindle is always being used. And Audible, actually, now that I think about it, Audible, I listen to a huge amount of audiobooks. I've got a subscription plan with them, and I smash through audiobooks kind of probably a couple a week at the moment. I love Audible. And Podcast Addict is what I use to kind of listen to podcasts, and I use Podbean to record our podcast. So there you go. And Anchor as well. Anchor's a great podcast one as well, podcast app as well. There you go. So there we've got tons of stuff there. For the curious, that there is my office, and about there is my window for anyone interested or wanting to know. Chuck Spidell asks, what is your favorite non-profit organization or mission-driven business and why? So it's a very good question, Chuck. To be honest, non-profit was a difficult one for me to answer. I actually think my favorite non-profit organization is Médecins Sans Frontières, which is like Doctors Without Borders, basically. The ability for guys to go out into extremely war-torn countries and treat anyone, no matter what kind of background they've come from, is a big deal, and they've changed a lot of lives. But I actually don't know their mission, so it's difficult for me to comment on why I think that they're so important. And it's probably come from, something my mum's taught me or something. I also know that one of the founders, Hans Rosling, he wrote one of my favorite books called Factfulness. So that's Hans Rosling, and they look at a lot of data. So anything that Hans Rosling's attached to is a huge thing that I'm a fan of. My favorite mission-driven business, though, would probably be Lego. Now, despite the fact of being a huge fan and spending way too much money per month on Lego, Lego's mission is essentially to inspire and develop the builders of tomorrow. The reason I love Lego's mission statement is because in the 90s, they were that close to becoming bankrupt, like a completely bankrupt business. But they changed their mission, they doubled down on what it was, and to simplify the system and to go back to what made them so popular back in kind of the 80s and the early 90s. And now they've become one of the most valuable businesses on the planet, certainly one of the most valuable brands on the planet, and they've essentially increased the price of plastic, 1,000%, 10,000%. So in terms of vision, mission-driven businesses, I'm a huge fan of Lego. Everything they do revolves around their mission, and yeah, as a business model, I absolutely love what those guys do. Okay, so Steph Campanella asks, what's the one moment WP Elevation made the most positive impact for you? I can remember exactly the big time that kind of WP Elevation's process and blueprint kind of came together for me. It was after I had initiated the qualification form, so the website worksheet. I remember we put that on our site and immediately saw a drop-off in low quality, low value sales, and at that point I was like, I'm just going to put $5,000 down. I'm going to put $5,000 as the minimum budget. And so, full disclosure, first of all, it didn't find me £5,000 customers, but all of a sudden I stopped having meetings and wasted time with low value, like $500 and £500 website customers, and everyone knew from that point on that Mike Killen's minimum is $5,000, and for some reason that elevated me into a different realm, and all the guys at like kind of my local chamber of commerce and the local business meetings and stuff, they thought I was like ludicrously overpriced, which I really liked. And initially, yeah, it took us maybe a couple of months to find that first customer, and now our prices have just gone up and up and up and up and up. So, and that's when I thought, that's the process, this is the qualification process, and this was all stuff that I knew as well. And I think what it showed me is that I could have control over my business. If I didn't want to work with a certain type of customer, I didn't have to. I could turn down work, and I think some people believe that there is nobility in the struggle, and that's just not true. You can design your business to work, and you can work with the customers that you want, and the best part is that most of it can be automated, so you can actually create forms that eliminate the need to have conversations with low value, low rent customers, and that was a huge deal for me. So yeah, I really liked that was probably the big moment for me. Actually, I sent this question in for all three of the coaches again. what's the biggest thing you learned from the elevators in WP Elevation? And to me personally, I learned that there is an enormous amount of diversity and there's an enormous amount of abundance available. Even for every single person inside WP Elevation, every single elevator, if they went after a niche, there is still so much potential and opportunity in all those different niches. And that's 1,000 members, right? So that's 1,000 different niches. First of all, there's enough for everyone. So everyone could go after a very specific niche and a very specific type of customer or problem that they want to go after. But also the diversity among, like, people have got business ideas and niches and customers that they go after that would have never ever have occurred to me. And that to me is really, really interesting and empowering to see that there's all these different versions of different customers that we could all kind of find and go after, and the business ideas that have come out of WP Elevation, some of the things that people are doing and the elevators are doing are just far beyond anything I could have ever created, or any of the other teams. So I just think it's amazing what people have been able to come up with and what they've been able to do. So yeah, it's probably this diversity of all the different niches we could go after, and diversity of different businesses and the diversity of different people, and the abundance of just what is available for us to all go out there and go after and help serve and go and reach. Hey, so Adam Connolly asks, again, all three of us, what businesses are you all going to concentrate on? Can I still follow and endorse what you do? Absolutely not, Adam. Yeah, I'm joking. Yeah, of course you can. So I'm going to be continuing to run Sell Your Service, and it's at sellyourservice.co.uk. Basically teaches marketing funnel builders how to maximize their income potential. It's a coaching and course program, although we have a plugin as well called Beaver Funnels, which I'll be pushing pretty heavily, no matter whether you guys follow me or not. So Adam, in terms of me, can you still follow me? That's absolutely fine, but I guarantee you my remarketing will be following you. And here we are back at the office. Bit of football over there. Last few final questions then. I know Kath said this as a testing question, but amazingly Emily sent a similar one. So Kath asks, what products do I use in my hair to keep it so voluminous? To be honest, my hair is just naturally crazy thick. My barber has to charge me twice. And Emily asks, does your hairdresser understand a word about scalable business and marketing funnels? Yeah, because I do nothing but talk about them all day. I'm his most hated customer because all I talk about is marketing funnels and scalable businesses. Stephanie, I'm afraid no last name. That's all I can see. Stephanie asks, how do you stay so sexy? Well, come and visit me, Steph, and you can find out for yourself. The final kind of question we've got here, Kath actually asks, how long did it take for me to write my book, and did I self-publish? So yeah, I think it took me 26 days in total to write my book. What I did is I wrote out 10 chapter ideas and then 30 ideas per chapter, and basically just spent 26 days getting up at 5 a.m. And just writing for 2 hours before coming into work or doing anything else. It took me 26 days. I self-published first. I did it on Amazon Kindle, and I did it on blurb.com as well, and since then we've been picked up by an actual publisher, A-Press. I have been picked up by an actual publisher, A-Press, and I'm currently working on the manuscript edits that they've sent over themselves, and they've done a fantastic job. I'm really looking forward to see when that's going to be out. That should be out in a few months. So yeah, it didn't actually take me that long. It was just the habit of sitting down and smashing it out every single day, making sure that I worked on it every single day for 2 hours, no matter what. And eventually, it actually only took me 26 days to write, but it took longer to edit, and about 2 days to publish it. You just kind of take it through the process, you self-publish, you take care of all that stuff by yourself. Final question here, asked by Kath. What is your favorite WP Elevation team moment? My favorite, I have two moments that tie. First of all, when I went to Melbourne in 2016, I think, I met up with Troy and Jin and Ray and the team and met everyone. That was absolutely amazing. That was just incredible. But also I got to meet Kath. I met Kath for the first time in Thailand. Kath, you're gonna have to help me out. 2014, I can't quite remember, out in Thailand, and the mastermind, we got on like a house on fire. Liv and Kath, my partner, got on famously. So yeah, that was awesome to meet up with Kath in Melbourne. And then also when I met up with Christina in Miami, when we went to the Miami mastermind, that was just amazing because we'd spent so long together talking over you Zoom and appear in and Slack and stuff like this, but to actually kind of meet up and chat and hang out and stuff was just so good. Christina's actually really tall. She's about 7'5". For anyone who hasn't met her, she's absolutely massive. She looks really small on camera on screen, but she's absolutely huge. But it was really awesome meeting up with her and being able to have like a dialogue in real time. So yeah, thanks very much, guys. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone at WP Elevation for everything that you've given me over the years. It's absolutely been, I feel I have been blessed to have so many people say so many amazing things and do amazing things and share amazing things with me. It's been an absolute pleasure working with all of you. I genuinely have got a heavy heart kind of leaving this behind. Obviously I'm not going to leave the group, but I have loved every single moment of it. I'll do whatever I can, and like I said, don't worry, my remarketing is going to find you. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for all your time watching the whole video. I hope it wasn't too boring going through those questions. Just to prove it as well, it was a real question sent in by someone called Stephanie. It wasn't me asking myself that. And in the meantime, of course, guys, don't forget to go elevate.